Okay, if I can have everyone's attention, we can go ahead and get started. Thank you all for coming again. This is the second of 3 visioning meetings that we're going to have for McKinley Square Park. My name is Linda Robertson. I see a couple of new faces, so just want to remind you that Recreation and Parks, I'm a planner with the Recreation and Parks Department, and RPD will be the lead agency for this process. There are a couple of things that I just want to do right away. First is just to remind you to turn off your cell phones and to, regarding comments, to remind you that we all kind of want to have our say, so please be respectful when other people are talking. We'll get to you. If we don't, we have some handy cards and a pencil. If you have questions, you don't get around to making your comments or just don't feel comfortable, please fill out a card, put your name and your contact information or whatever you want to give us, and we'll take it, collect it, put it down for the record, and we'll come out with the notes for the next meeting. Also, with regards to the first meeting, we do have the meeting notes for that last meeting. They're available at the front table, so if you don't have one, please feel free to jump up and grab one on your way out, or if you just need to stretch your legs. We also have the agenda for tonight's meeting on the table. Looks like everyone has that. I just want to introduce some of our partners as well. Also with Recreation and Parks Department, I think most of you know Steve Sosnowski. He's here to offer his helpful advice and guidance. He has a great wealth of knowledge about McKinley Park, so we're happy to have him here. Also, Maria D'Angelico, who has graciously gone out and purchased some snacks for everyone. So I want to say thank you to San Francisco Parks Trust. And also, SFPT is the fiscal sponsor for this project. So Maria will be dealing with that. I think that's pretty much it. Again, my name is Linda. My contact information is on this page. If you need to email me, get in touch with me, find out any more information, please feel free. I'm available. I might not get back to you right away, but I will get back to you. So with that, I'd like to introduce Mark Alvarado, who will stand up and just kind of say a few words. Mark is the administrator of downtown.
Welcome. I know what do you guys think? The building? Yeah, it's good. Yeah, we're really proud of it. So I just wanted to basically give you a quick overview of some of the changes that we've made and some of the new inroads that we've made. We are now working very closely with Park and Rec. We received a large grant from the city and for workforce development. We were one of 5 schools that got this grant, and we're working together. Basically, the deal is this: I'm trying to figure out where does the classroom meet the workforce for my kids, right? And for the population that's not necessarily going to go to a 4-year university, and maybe will go to City College, but a lot of my kids get trapped in City College and then can't get out, right? So our pilot is basically this. We're working with Park and Rec, and we're also working with the CBO in the neighborhood or in the city called JVS, Jewish Vocational Services. They're a big workforce development agency, right? They help a lot of people. They do a good job. And so what we're doing basically is I have a minimum percentage of attendance that kids need to be at downtown. You need to be 80% attendance at downtown, and you have to earn a minimum of 17.5 credits, right? That's sort of the standard. And the mantra here is like, if you can't do the minimum, then you're never going to be successful. I mean, if you can't show up, then forget it. You're not going to work. So you guys our attendance has shot through the roof. To put it in perspective, about 4 years ago, I had about 20 to 30 kids that had about 80% attendance and above. And of course, it varies with the months, okay? But now we have about 120 on average, okay? And that is in part due to the fact that now the kids who are at 80% and above are now linking with the workforce programs, right? And so the kids that are 80% and above, they go to extra classes after school, soft skills, hard skills, and then on Saturdays, they're working with Steve's partners and doing habitat restoration. But we're also being creative on like, okay, well, how are we going to throw some algebra in there with trying to figure out volumes and, you know, how much sod's needed, you know, covering area. Anyways, but I guess my message to all of you is San Francisco is so small, right? I mean, really, just as a handful of people in the city that you keep on crossing over. So the work that you're doing here, planning for McKinley Square Park, is really important. It touches us at Downtown High School in the sense that, you know, Park and Rec are our friends and our partners. And as a community, you guys are my community. We're a community. I love welcoming you into my house and our house. But this is very much our neighborhood and our home. So I just wanted to, again, welcome you, give you some highlights of what we have going on, but also infuse what those highlights are with the work that you're doing. So we're basically doing the same work in a lot of different respects with trying to improve our neighborhoods. But what you also have to keep in mind is some of the work that's going in here and in some of the other areas are also going to indirectly benefit me because we're going to be able to say, well, hey, listen, maybe we start expanding into McKinley, for example, with some of our works. So those conversations haven't been had, but will be had. So that's what I have. Without further ado, I just want to turn it over. So welcome.
Well, welcome everyone to the second meeting, and we're going to move pretty quickly. We have a little over an hour and a lot of. I just wanted to step back. Speak up a little. Okay. Yeah. So I just want to go back over to the process one more time really quickly, and so we have had community input in the last meeting. We've summarized these in the notes, and the notes are here, and we'll go through them in detail. And we have now begun to sift through those notes and interpret them in various ways. So that's where we are at now. So we're here at the C here, which is select the preferred direction. And what we're looking for is an understanding of the desires of the community. So when there's options about the way the park might feel, or if there's opportunities to do some changes, we want to hear if that's something that everyone agrees is the right direction or not. So as we move through, we'll want to get your comments and thoughts. We will then take those comments and summarize them further into more specific plans, which we'll call a concept plan. We'll assign some dollar values to these improvements, and we'll also look at how those things might be phased. Because maybe it's possible to do all the changes at one time. Maybe it needs to be done in three different projects, or maybe it's a series of small projects and a couple of big ones. But we'll have to look at different scenarios to make that work. And that would be really the topic of the next meeting, the third meeting. And that's the concept plans. And once we have that, we then go and get approvals from the Parks Commission. And then after we have that, and we have the consensus plan from the community, so we understand and we have documented through a series of steps really the desires of the community. Then it's a matter of funding, right? So everyone is going to have to find how they fit into this park, how they benefit from this park, and then put energy into finding ways to fund it. And it's a myriad of ways to do that. And then a lot of you participate in groups and organizations that regularly find funding for through variety of activities, sales through, split. Anyway, there's a lot. I'm drawing a blank. There's a lot. And so from that, we can then define a project, and then those defined projects can actually be developed further, and then they can be implemented. And that's a process. And it may not be one step. It might be a series of steps. It might not be 1 year. It might be 10 years. But we're creating a collective vision about the future, and then you'll all be working towards implementing it. So what I'm going to do is start here with the agenda. I'm going to quickly give you just a summary of the site itself. So this is the park here, and this is the freeway here, Highway 101. There's a lot of the trees. The existing fence line is actually right here. This is the fence line. This is where everyone jumps over the fence line. And we have prevailing winds coming from the west, which will be this direction. So the general breeze comes this way. Comments have been made that these trees really help to block, and some of the other trees help to buffer, lessen the amount of wind that arises at the top. We know that it's south is to the bottom of the sheet, north is to the top. So we know that by midday, by late morning, this is getting full sun. And we basically have sun all day. Late afternoon, we still get sun. So it's a very exposed, and it gets the hot westerly afternoon sunlight. We know that it has a slope. And it's relatively flat at the top, and it slopes. It has somewhat continuous, about 30% slopes. But there is an area here that's down to 16%, so it's about half as steep in this vicinity and right here. But it's generally pretty consistently sloped throughout the rest of the property. There are some existing trails, and these little red lines that run through. This would be the primary trail on this slope. There's some access points at the corner here. The old staircase that comes up to the flat area, the playground, the large multi-use lawn area. There's a couple tables. There's an accessible ramp here, and there's some staircases that are not connected to anything. They just sort of float out. And so if you can connect from one to the next and actually make your way down to the bottom, but there isn't a path per se. We also noticed that there's some erosion in this area, and that's what was brought up at the last meeting. And then, of course, you have some spectacular views underneath the trees from the top looking out. So this is the setting of the park.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Is where the existing community garden also on that?
Yeah, the community garden. Okay, the community garden is right here.
Okay, so that's part of
That's part of the
property?
park.
Okay.
It is part of the park.
Okay, thanks.
And there has been a lot of improvements actually in the past 2 years in this primary, especially in the primary path